My so-called life is sponsored by So it is Friday. I absolutely love Friday sews because it gives me the opportunity to show everything I've been doing during the week, and I've been sewing. I love live streaming, so while live streaming, I try to make something every single live stream. It doesn't work out every single time, but this past week I have absolutely fallen in love with some of my makes. And I've also purchased two beautiful sewing machines. So, like I always say, instead of talking about it, let's go check it out.
They're just touching Touchtronic memory machines.
Incredible.
I'm Polly Bergen. Only Singer makes machines this easy to use. Touch. The memory remembers your stitch pattern instantly. Touchtronic speed control remembers to adjust your fabric thickness.
What about basting?
Touch. Great. You can forget about your sewing machine and concentrate on sewing. The Touchtronic memory machine family. Come take a test, Touch.
This is my Singer 5144. I always say sewing machines are from the 1970s, the 1960s, but this machine is from 1980, not the 80s. This was the machine that was sold in 1980. I was kind of stoked when I looked it up because I have an extensive collection of Singer sewing machines, but this is one I didn't have. One of the reasons I selected this was because it came with the vinyl bag. A year or two ago, I was sniffing around a thrift shop that had a Singer with a vinyl bag, but the problem is that they wanted like $100 for the machine. Sometimes people go crazy when they think they can make money off of something, and you know what? In today's economy, I completely understand. But I went to my local Salvation Army and found this beautiful sewing machine. You know, I got it for $16, and I was kind of excited because it came with the bag. The machine needs help, but it came with the bag. So, like I always say, instead of talking about it, let's go check it out. So, I have to say before I start, this machine is in perfect condition. I think because it sat in the bag for so long, it's completely untouched. The foam is still in perfect condition, and that's really rare for something of this age. With that being said, this is truly a moment of truth because we're going to find out that if this is a dud or a disaster. Or if it works, because it's both. But I'm excited because for the price, I got the bag. But before we get to the bag, let's see if this sewing machine works. Oh, it has a stutter. But let's be real, so do I. Oh, it works. Perfect. So let's check the back. You know what? It needs a little bit of help. But from the front, it threw down the perfect stitch. The machine needs a little bit of help, but it's not as bad as I thought it was. So I'm definitely going to call this a victory here in the House of Sewing. Like I always say, stay creative, keep sewing. I know I'm a little over enthusiastic about a bag, but I love this Singer bag. I'm not going to use this only for sewing machines. I'm definitely going to clean this and use this as an everyday bag. Or if I travel or go somewhere, be prepared to see sewing and the Singer bag. Also, I made this shirt during a live stream and it pops on the camera and I love the way it looks. I live stream a lot and this year I'm definitely going to try to show off everything that I've made. So, like I always say, stay creative, keep sewing. I love watching old MTV music videos. I grew up in an era where they had some of the most epic music videos ever made. My playlist is all over the place, and recently I was watching a Bobby Brown video and I had that moment of why has it taken me this long to even think of this project. I was watching every little step and it dawned on me, hey, I can do that. This jacket came out perfect. I'm laughing because it's one of those projects that when I started, I was like, oh, it might look hokey. I love this. I've been walking around. I can tell every single person who's over 40 because they're like, hey, you are doing that from the Bobby Brown video. I see you and I appreciate you. This was yet again a project that I absolutely fell in love with. I went to my local Hobby Lobby. I purchased every single letter and this project was a success. So, like I always say, stay creative, keep sewing.
Get the most fun out of life, out of being a mother and wife, with new fashion excitement that's all created by you. On your new Touch and Sew
Sewing machine by Singer.
Touch and Sew.
Another first from Singer.
Be the girl with the golden touch on your new Singer Golden Touch and Sew machine. Dozens of exclusive features, like this new built-in needle threader for the golden slant needle, and the push-button bobbin that winds right in the machine. What a wonderful new feeling. You can do all three kinds of sewing: straight, zigzag, and chain stitch.
Touch and Sew, the push-button bobbin way.
Come sew on one at your Singer Center. Choose from 5 Touch and Sew models from $149.95.
What's new for tomorrow
Is at Singer today.
So this year, I've actually been lucky. There's been quite a few sewing machines that I've purchased that were perfect. I mean, all I had to do was oil them up and they started working immediately. Not every sewing machine that you purchase is going to be a winner. And I'm just here to remind you that I purchase a lot of sewing machines. I take them apart and put them back together. And sometimes I do not necessarily say that I take them apart and put them back together. So when you go to a thrift store, always remember that if you see a sewing machine that you want to buy, turn it over. Take a look at it. See if it has a bobbin. See if it even has the pieces for the bobbin case, because sometimes it comes with everything or it's just a sewing machine body. So, like I always say, stay creative, keep sewing. I am definitely a nostalgic person. I remember being a mall rat when I was a kid. Every summer, at the end of the summer, my parents would take me shopping for clothes. And they would take me to this place called the JCPenney Outlet. It was in Northridge. I doubt it even exists anymore. But it was one of those places that was magic because we would walk in and my parents would be like, you know what? You can get anything you want. So when I saw this JCPenney sewing machine, I absolutely jumped at it. My local thrift store rarely has sewing machines, and when they do, they start around $20. I can't say they're necessarily overpriced, but every once in a while, they're asking too much. when I walked up to this machine and saw it was $12, I grabbed the machine so fast that I broke every rule that I've ever talked about. I didn't check to see if it worked. I didn't turn it over. I just picked it up and started walking straight towards the register. But I absolutely love this JCPenney sewing machine. It's a Japanese clone and a wonderful addition to the fleet. But like I always say, instead of talking about it, let's go check it out. So, moment of truth. We're going to find out if this JCPenney machine works or if it needs a little bit more help. Oh. Am I sewing? You know what? This JCPenney machine is going to need a little bit more help. But that's okay, because I fix sewing machines. This one was definitely a failure, but I know what's wrong with it, and I'm wearing this amazing coat. So, like I always say, stay creative, keep sewing. So recently, during a live stream, I made a Captain Kirk shirt and absolutely fell in love. So it was only logical to keep going down the line. I absolutely love Star Trek, the original series. So I'm going to make quite a few uniforms, and I have fallen in love with this red shirt. I love the color scheme, the way it fits. Like I said in my last video, my original Captain Kirk uniform was a little bit too tight, and I'm in my 40s and I'm starting to expand in this direction. So when I make clothes, I keep that in consideration, and this shirt fits perfect. So, like I always say, stay creative, keep sewing. So, if you've made it this far, I absolutely thank you. And like I always say, reinforce your seams, be yourself, and I will definitely see you next time.